Hi, this is Regdrin,
And this is Stone of Triumph.
yesterday's star. I'm today's star, and today is Kralgarisk Day.
Galactic battle mode activated.
Now we're going to pick up where my brother left off, at the No Dreadnoughts battle.
The bane of my existence.
Yes. And not particularly helpful for my existence, because the enemy here is the Uton, and we're going to be facing swarms of Uton fighters. You see all those frigates? Those are all flak, and I don't consider that overkill.
Okay.
I tried the radiation pulse frigates for reasons that we've discussed before. However, Uton fighters don't fall for those shenanigans.
Oh yeah, they're the ones who actually have the speed to avoid things.
Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about Kralgarisk's support, which we looked at briefly. They have the best shield boosters. As in, they give shield faster, they have a bigger reserve, and they recharge faster. That's roughly half the reason they're considered overpowered. Also, I want to try nuclear pulse lasers, which only the Kralgarisk have, but by comparison they're just kind of a toy. And I wanted to try this in an environment that had shields, just to see what happened.
Okay.
And these torpedo ships in back, well, they have 7 torpedo launchers, and that's about it. So I believe that just about covers it. The cruisers in front do have a couple of heavy pulse lasers to deal with whatever pathetic smattering of armor that the AI likes to use in these battles.
Whatever they have, it won't be enough.
So tell me a little bit about how you handled Expert in this map.
Well, I kinda just showed you last video.
Oh, you used basically the same thing, did you?
More or less.
I see. So, if you wanted to spend less exorbitant amounts of points than I do, how would you handle a large amount of Uton fighters and gunships?
Well, the way I did it was with my own anti-fighter destroyers.
Okay, basically the same thing as I used?
Pretty much. Though I also used anti-fighter missiles because flak against speed isn't always reliable.
I guess.
So what the anti-fighter missiles did was hit one of the fighters and slowing them down enough to actually hit them with the flak and mess up their bodies.
Okay. Well, actually, that seems pretty clever. I'll have to keep that in mind. Well,
it worked well enough, at least.
Yeah. And, well, the volume of flak seems to be enough. And by the way, if you take a look at the increments that the enemy forces disappear, you can see that's disappearing maybe 30 at a time, and I know fighters cost more than that, so I consider that proof that it's counting health instead of cost.
Oh, that's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah. Which is why I was surprised to find out that by health, the fighters consisted about 20% of their forces. Because we know that their ratio of cost to health is, well, pretty outrageous.
Yep.
Now this what we're looking at here is probably the most difficult part of the battle for my strategy, because my backliners are still sort of tied up and are shooting at enemy frigates while their cruisers are moving forward, so my decoy projectors are working overtime here.
And it looks like your frigates are getting punished.
Yes, this is the main reason I put out so many of them, because I've noticed that even with dedicated anti-fire weaponry, they tend to blow up quite frequently.
And this is why I choose destroyers, because return to sender does work on fighter missiles.
Alright, well maybe I'll give that a try sometime. But now I'm starting to finally shoot back in a reasonably effective way. So we'll see how the frontline brawl goes, because I am still pretty outnumbered there. having gone for 50% instead of my usual 90.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have some shields to remove, but with this many torpedoes and them not using much missile defense, it hopefully won't take long.
If they had missile defense, you probably destroyed it already.
Well, wow, that hull is disappearing fast.
Uh-huh.
You see, this is what I've discovered about radiation weapons.
Yep.
The ones with a long refire rate, such as the nuclear missiles, the nuclear beams,
And the nuclear plasma.
those are all pretty horrible. That's because the slightly higher damage compared to the pulse lasers does not nearly make up for the rate of fire. However, if you can land radiation pulsars, which in this case only the Kraugrist can put on cruisers, then they rip up ships incredibly fast.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, you just...
Here's a demonstration.
Yeah, there's a couple of ships there that just lost their shields, and trust me, the torpedoes are nice, but it's not just those that are going to take them down here. I really wish it showed accurate radiation per tick. That would help us get a much better understanding of the effectiveness of those weapons.
Well, I wouldn't count on any further updates from Klefsky at this point.
I plan to talk about that at length later on. Also, I only have 2 support destroyers left, but I haven't lost any shields on my cruisers yet. Oh dang!
Well,
those cruisers disappeared while no one was looking. Actually, I take that back. I lost shields on one of my cruisers, but they're in much worse shape. See how that really big blob of cruisers is moving up?
yeah.
Well, yeah. There was a point wherein I would be concerned about that sort of thing.
That is not this day.
Not this day, no. I'm starting to take hull damage on one of my cruisers.
Well,
Oh,
2.
actually, yes, you are correct. That is 2. And I just wanted to make sure that everything was working properly on the ships that hadn't been half blown up yet. And this is one of my favorite things to happen in this game, which is chain ship death explosions.
Yep.
That's always fun for me to watch. So overall, I'd say this experiment was a success.
Yeah, you won.
Well, yeah, but it's a little sad when that's not the only thing that determines whether an experiment was a success or not.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to make sure that this particular strategy wouldn't make battle drag on needlessly, which would happen if radiation was just not that good no matter how you used it.
That turns out it is.
Okay, well, lesson learned then.
Shield support beams activating.
Also, statistics don't really show how effective radiation weaponry is because of the strange way it's handled.
Mm-hmm.
But, go ahead.
Well, that's gonna be a problem.
Well, we can sort of guess how it works by looking at the effect it has in the battle, like we just did.
Okay.
Next battle is, well, we're actually getting towards the end. There's only a few planets left. And the next one is going to be a smaller battle. 4,800.
48,000.
Whatever. 4,800 would probably be...
That would be a
silly.
very small battle.
Yes. But still. For this one, I decide to show the other half of why Kraugrist is considered OP. You can guess, can't you?
How? Wow, that's... Okay. So, 6 sledgehammer pulses...
Right, so, sledgehammer pulse cannons. remember how we talked about how pulse cannons were OP?
Yep.
Because they're good against pretty much everything and do a lot of damage?
Yeah.
Sledgehammer pulse cannons are like that, except, better.
I see.
They fire rapidly, so you're not likely to waste an entire cooldown on a miss.
Yep.
And, well, they're pulse cannons, and they do more damage, and I don't even know what else to say about it. Oh, the Kraugrist also have pulverizer beams, but by comparison, that's just a toy.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty hilarious thing to say.
Yes. So this is my armor build. It's pretty easy to tell. 2016 armor health there, along with the repair systems.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, ECM protection.
Correct.
So I think I've got everything covered there.
Mm-hmm.
And a few anti-fighter frigates in the back, plus one overpowered support ship per capital ship.
Okay.
This is the sort of thing that in somewhat lower quantities would win high score matches for a lot of people.
Correct.
Or it would if this were expert instead of hard.
But we'll see how this works on expert next time.
Yeah. Oh, this is the sort of setup you want to see next time?
Well, you do what you want. Oh, hey, fighters.
You're allowed to say what you want to see, though. I mean, I'm open to feedback. Oh yeah, that's right. Sledgehammer pulse cannons can also hit fighters a decent amount of the time. Even though these are Uton.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got into the backline pretty fast, didn't they?
Yep.
However, because it's a smaller battle, the enemy doesn't quite have the high density of them that you get in the bigger battles. So, in this case, it looks like the enemy has fielded 4 dreadnoughts. And 4 dreadnoughts against 1 dreadnought, a handful of cruisers, and supports seems like a fairly even fight in this particular setting. Or this particular game, whatever you want to call it.
Not in this case.
Yeah, and well, how do you know?
Because you have sledgehammers.
Ah, you see, you're experienced enough to know how this is gonna go, I see.
Yes. Plus, enemy dreadnought design isn't usually that great.
Yeah. Its hull isn't going down quite as fast as if I was using those rapid-fire radiation guns, but still. I haven't lost any shields yet, and that's a little surprising considering that I'm just using nothing special, 1 heavier, 1 capacitor, same on my cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the dreadnought in front is taking fire and nothing's really happening because their shield is recovering too fast.
Yep.
You know, I'm not entirely sure what to say. I'm slightly disappointed.
We'll just say we're at a loss for words.
Is that really being at a loss for words, though?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll take your word for it. I'm sorry.
Shield support beams activated.
I don't know. Can this be considered a clear, zoomed-in shot of what's wrong with this game? Or is that being a bit too harsh on it?
No, I think in this case we need to be harsh.
Okay. Well, I was hoping to talk about something other than what kind of problems this game had, but it just constantly seems to pop up whenever we talk about something.
Well, that's something in and of itself, isn't it?
I suppose it is, but this setup definitely worked. It worked disturbingly well. And
Oh, I've got an idea.
yeah,
Next video, no pulse lasers.
no pulse lasers. So no sledgehammer pulse cannons, no anything?
No pulse anything.
Okay, that's a good idea. We'll try that next time. Until then, well, I'm Regdrin, and this is my
The
brother.
other guy.
Research
And we'll see you later.
activated.
Bye.